We're on.
We're live. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. That means that it is your weekly Mauls, Balls and All. Comes to you live every Thursday from 8:30. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, no matter where or what platform you're watching us from, and indeed what country you're watching us from. Joining me this evening is Matt Boland. We have Richard Holland. We have the Eamon Dunphy of rugby commentary. I'm not too far off the mark. Mike Reedy. We also have Dara Weston, and of course we have Peter Martin joining us. Gentlemen, are we all well in ourselves? Are we good?
Well, no, thank you.
No, we're not well in ourselves.
What's wrong with you, Pete? What are you giving out about?
No, none of us are well in ourselves. We're all fucking a bit nuts in the head, to be honest. Let's get it out there. Let's deal with that.
It's okay.
I thought that. Hold on, Mike. I thought that rash that you had returned or something. You were going on about that. Remember that rash I sent you cream for?
Moving on.
No.
Yeah, Matt had some as well, and I don't know.
Right.
I'm fantastic. I spent the last 3 days at an aviation conference bullshitting, so I'm on a roll this week.
You're on a roll, okay.
And then bringing colleagues from abroad out for dinner and fucking driving everywhere because I was the one who was like doing the early morning meetings and stuff while they were all staying in the hotel and they only had to go down the elevator to get to the meetings. Anyway.
So you feel hard done by, Dara?
No, I don't, but I'm going to get locked tonight because I haven't had a drink so far this week.
Oh, good man. Fair play to you. Okay,
light up another one.
There you go. Megan Augusta, evening, gentlemen. How are you, Megan? Neil McKeown, a regular poster in our group, and he always imparts a lot of information in the group. Thanks, Neil, and good to have you watching. Gregor Galway, where's Gregor's comment gone? Oh, there it is. Gregor Galway, one thing to expect is a Mike Reedy, I suspect that is. Okay. Gentlemen, Matt Boland, we will kick off the list I sent around today. Obviously, the big news of the day was that the Six Nations squad was announced. First, Matt, before we go into the minutiae, the details of it, any surprises? It's a fairly conservative pick by Mr. Easterby. Yeah, really.
Look, I think there's an essence of playing safe there. You know, you can't really fault him for the choices he's picked because, you know, he's stepping up to take over while Andy Farrell is off on Lions duty. So, you know, it is a conservative pick. I mean, the development players that he's picked, Hugh Cooney, Cal Ford, McNabney, 100% deserves to be there. Definitely. He's been brilliant for Ulster lately. And Ben Murphy's been quality for Connacht. So, fair play to them. There is a couple of names that were surely in the hat.
We'll come on to that, Matt. I was just I was just looking for initial reactions. Richard Holland, your initial reaction.
Um,
End of the day, Easterby, he's interim coach or caretaker coach or whatever you want to call him. I wasn't expecting him to be changing entire system, so it's more or less along the lines of what I thought. A couple of players I would have preferred to see that there, but we'll come to that, as you said.
We'll come to that, yeah. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Matt. Mike Grady, your initial thoughts. We'll come on to players who might or might not have been.
There's probably a couple of players that haven't played at all this season, really, that have been injured and they're in the squad. So I don't even know. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to be fit, like Dan Sheehan, and I'm hoping he's going to be fit anyway, because we could really do with him. But no, I think he's gone with an Andy Farrell squad. He's not going to be doing anything wild. He's not, like, because he's interim and he doesn't want to rock the boat and he doesn't want to. I mean, Andy Farrell is his gaffer still, so.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, okay, yeah. Dara Wesson.
I stand by my previous statement. Lions year. Andy left the list on the fridge. All Easterby is doing is reading off that list, and maybe adding a few development players to it as you know, but as expected.
I will say one thing there, and he does deserve inclusion, is Jack Boyle. He's been absolutely brilliant this year. So.
Yeah. Totally agree, Richard. Yes, Peter Martin, your initial thoughts on the squad as you read it.
Yeah, Simon Easterby is the safe pair of hands, while Farrell is on Lions sabbatical. But exactly as what Dara said, certain players are left in the list, and it was like a nod from Farrell to say, Simon picked these because they need game time because they're going to be playing in a Lions jersey in next summer. The one thing I would say about the development players is I actually misread it when I read, obviously it's like a case of dyslexia or something. Hugh Cooney, that's a head scratcher for me. I thought it was actually Hugh Gavin for a minute, but then I remembered Hugh Gavin, I think, is actually injured at the moment. But Hugh Cooney. Interesting.
Okay, Pete, going back to you. Now we go into the players and who should or who should not have been selected. Now it is it is a conservative pick. There's nothing really stand out. But the players that a lot of people thought would have been included that weren't included, and I think, Pete, you mentioned this as well, Timoney, Ahern, Hodnett, Jaeger. I don't know if Jaeger's injured. He might be.
No, Jaeger.
Sorry, Mike, what?
Jaeger's on the panel, isn't he?
No.
He's not on the panel. Ben Murphy, I know he's on the training squad, but maybe he should have been in the actual squad. Jude Postlethwaite.
Is it two
I don't know.
But I think
Blade is in as third scrum half.
Blade and Conor Murray and Gibson Park, I think.
Yeah. Just on Ben Murphy, I don't think there's any uncapped players in the main squad, is there?
Yeah, there is.
Jack Boyle. But anyway, Pete, any players there that you feel maybe have overstayed their welcome, or any players that really should have been let in?
Okay, players who've overstayed their welcome. Well, we've already said we've already dealt with the fact that it's an Andy Farrell-esque conservative squad, so there's no point saying I feel about particular positions. So bearing that in mind, one player I would suppose, and just, which I think is a question mark over, but I do think he's there for a particular reason. Ian Henderson. His form was shocking during the autumn internationals. I can probably see the reasoning why he's been included. He's good in the line-out. He calls a line-out. That's a space where we're not very good at the moment. I think James Ryan was supposed to. Well, he does call line-outs for Leinster, but it's an aspect of the game that it's a definite weakness for Ireland. Like, we've had these conversations, we've gone into more detail when we had Shane Byrne on and so on. But like, we don't have a line-out nuance there, like a guy who's basically, he rules the airways, and perhaps that's the reason why Henderson is there, is because he knows how to call a line out. He's good in that space. He will lead it. He will, he's there for that. Other than that, I think he's on the way out. Like, he's just hasn't. It's like, based on his form in during the autumn internationals, he was probably comfortably Ireland's worst player. For me, coming off the bench and giving away penalties, stupid fucking stuff. Like, it's not something you expect from a 21-year-old, not a 32, 33-year-old, whatever age he is. Apart from that, look, players who should be there, maybe. I think possibly the Munster contingent should feel a bit pissed off that Ahern isn't there. There's a case for Kendallin because he was on the Emerging Ireland tour. Easterby was in charge of it. It'll be interesting. Put it to you like this: it'd be interesting. Hodnett, obviously, another one he can't seem to do anything to get in the space that occupies Andy Farrell's thoughts for selection, or indeed Simon Easterby's. There's obviously the bits and pieces that they're seeing that we aren't seeing or aware of, or whatever. It's training field stuff or whatever. Apart from that, it's hard to go into it without going beyond what we've already kind of said as regards it's a conservative selection.
It's kind of business as usual, really. But what I want to, Christopher Goff, good evening. Good evening, all. Darrell Weston, going on what Pete said, and the only thing I would say, sorry, just to reference you there, Pete, with Hodnett and Ahern, and maybe people were screaming for Timothy. They're going into a very flooded space in the Irish team. Is the only thing I would say about that. Maybe in defence of people who are screaming for why wasn't he in. Darrell Weston, your thoughts on who's in and who should be in and who's out and all that usual stuff.
Well, who should be in is that young fella from Meath, Barrett. I mean, he should be getting a cap straight away. I mean, given his performances for Leinster. Look,
I knew somebody was going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, and it's kind of like I see Conor Murray picked again, and I'm kind of like, but at the same time, Conor Murray, Cian Healy, these guys will perform a function in a Lions year because you're not going to want your key prospective test players to be playing all 5 games. So there's going to be games where you're going to have to rest, some of your first choice Lions picks because, you don't want them getting injured. So I suppose there is a purpose to be served for having the old war horses out again. Coombs isn't in, sure he's not.
No.
So I mean, there probably be calls about that from certain parts of the country. But yeah, look, I think it's fairly. I think it's a fairly good squad. I'm sure. We were saying about Sheehan if he's fit. I mean, it's probably like last year when O'Mahony was in the squad, but there was concerns whether he was fit or not. So, look, put him in, and if he's not fit, they can always call somebody else in.
Someone just sent me a message. Sorry, Dar. Someone just sent me a message there just now. Apparently, Dan Sheehan will be playing on Saturday.
I heard that as well.
Excellent.
I had heard that, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good news.
That's good. I'd be there watching it, so I'm looking forward to that.
As will I, barely.
Because hopefully, I mean, I'm not saying he's the Messiah, but hopefully he will bring order back to the line out. Similar. Anyway, look, I won't go down the Leinster road for the moment, but no, I think it's a fairly good Irish squad. I think there's a lot of players there who've been picked on form and, been rewarded. I love that, there's young lads getting in on the development side. I hope they make it through to the actual full squad, get some game time, get some caps. So, yeah, no, I think positive.
I'd love to see, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I'm not having a go at anyone else, but I'd love to see Jack Boyle have a go and Ben Murphy have a go. Just also, really, yeah. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on all this? Who's in? Who should be in? And the picks that are in.
What spaces like for who we think should be in?
What the hell happened there? Who did we lose?
We lost 2 people.
I don't know what happened there.
Richard and Mike.
Richard and Mike.
Hold on, let me just see. They're coming back.
Once were pulled out.
Hold on.
Yeah,
sorry, I don't know what happened there, Mike. Go on. Go ahead.
No, there's no spaces for anybody else to come in really as such. Like young Boyle has come in as a prop, which I would see. Other than that, like I would have liked maybe Tom Ahern to get a go, but lads, he still has time. He's only a young fella, and he's time on his side. So I wouldn't be jumping up and down about it. And something, the squad could change this time next week because we could have injuries after the weekend's game. So the squad might have to change. So I wouldn't be
saying things like that.
No, but it could. It happened.
Yeah, no, but I think we picked our strongest squad. So hopefully, being a Lions year, we want maximum bums on seats on the plane. So.
Well, I'll be honest.
Hopefully, no injuries.
None of our players went to the Lions because they always go there and get injured. If the Lions didn't happen, be okay. But it's nice. It is a nice. It's a nice compliment to you as a player and to your country, like to be picked. And Scottish players have been fucking pulling their hair out for years. There was not many good enough to be picked, but they were picked.
Maybe Finn Russell.
No representatives.
Right. Anyway, moving on the mention of that name, Richard Holland. Everyone kind of moves around now, so I've lost who I've asked and who I haven't asked. Richard Holland, have I?
No, you haven't.
Richard. Okay, Richard, go on. Your thoughts on the question I've asked.
Just to echo what Pete said about Ian Henderson, he's a lucky boy to be there. I mean, he was by a long way. He was probably the worst player in the autumn international series. Great to see Jack Boyle getting a run. I think he deserves it. Hodnett would be the big one for me to stand out. He's been absolutely brilliant for us so far this year. But it goes back to the thing that we're awash with second rows and loose forwards. So it's a very crowded market there. So obviously, I hope he gets a chance. He should eventually get his chance. But I'm disappointed for him that he's not there because he's been playing out of his skin for us. He's just immense so far this year.
There's our friend and pal Shirley Thornton agreeing with you there, Richard. She would think that Hodnett should be in there. Why not? Okay, Richard, thanks for that. Matt Boland, your thoughts on this? A very conservative pick. Anyone you think should be in or out, or what do you think?
Well, look, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I'm the same opinion of the rest of the guys. You know, I think the Munster contingent should be hard done by a couple of the omissions there, because definitely with the likes of Hodnett, Coombs, Kendellen, they have a lot of players there that I'd say it was very hard to not pick them. Do you know what I mean? But again, as Dara says, like fucking Easterby's going off what Andy Farrell's left on the fridge door, you know. But for me, I probably would have, I definitely would have left Henderson out just on his performance in the Autumn Nation series. I think Tom Farrell is unlucky not to be there at some point. He's been playing unbelievable stuff for Munster. I know age isn't on his side either, you know, probably a factor in it, but he definitely was worth a shot at going on based on his performances for Munster, you know.
Just on that, Matt, I mean, who do you drop? He's a centre.
Look, I know, and that's the thing. Like, who do you drop? Like, but in saying that, like, why can't he be part of the training squad prior to it? Like, you know, because they are going to whittle this. They are going to whittle this squad down anyway. Do you know? Yeah. You know. So.
And by the way, it could be a completely different squad after round 2, or not completely different, but a changed squad after round 2.
Absolutely,
as always happens.
You know, like you got to look at it from the point of view that we've England first, so they need their strongest team available, and they want to have all the best players available for that game because that's at home. It's against England. They don't want to lose because they lost last year. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I mean, there's a couple on the Ulster team that could have had a shout of been there as well. Me personally, I'm delighted to see Keane Prendergast there. I think he's definitely deserves a spot there.
Yeah,
that boy is another one, 100%. Is there anybody else? The rest are pretty much. There's a couple there that I'd probably just put on the chopping block, but that's just my opinion. Probably wouldn't have.
Let's hear it.
I definitely wouldn't have Henderson there. I'd probably get rid of Herring as well. You couldn't drop Cian Healy because just on his performances and how he can cover all three positions in the front row, you couldn't drop him, even though he's knocking on the door out, you know, but he still deserves to be there.
But he still has that explosive 20 minutes in him.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I think he's there, you know. It's great to see Caelan Blade there in the name squad because, you know, with Craig Casey injured, Murray, Murray has a great impact for 20 minutes. But I'd like to see Caelan Blade get some game time, as well as even Ben Murphy, because, you know, like, there's going to be spaces coming up. I mean, how old is Gibson Park? He'll probably do the next World Cup. Maybe that's it, and then he's gone. You know, so
yeah.
When's Casey coming back?
The other side of the Six
He won't be back.
Nations,
He won't be back.
Yeah, far side of the Six Nations, as far as I know.
Yeah, but
Look, everybody else is there on merit, and it'll be very interesting to see now who he starts at fly half. Is it going to be Crowley or Prendergast? That's the big one.
Don't mention the war, particularly in our group. Dave Sheedy, good evening, lads. How are you, Dave? Hope you're keeping well. Also, we have Martin Lynch. Evening, lads. How are you, Martin? How are you? Dave Sheedy is saying, let me see, behave tonight, Mr. Weston.
Always behave myself, Mr. Sheedy.
Megan Augusta, you are the weakest link. I think that's about people dropping out. We are on an evening when the Wi-Fi people are not putting the coins into the meter. Put it that way.
Well, I actually just turned on the Wi-Fi there.
Apparently, Megan likes to be referred to now as Megan Augusta Timony.
Okay. Just a point, gentlemen. I was reading a Blue Sky. I don't know what they call them. Did they call them Skies or Blues or whatever on the new platform there?
What is Blue Sky? Is it like Instagram or Twitter or what?
Twitter. It's the exact same as Twitter, but better. It's more civil.
Right. More civil, less toxic.
Less exactly.
Less Elon Musk.
Well, no Elon Musk. Actually, the guy who runs Blue Sky is the lad who set up Twitter.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have joined Donald Trump's thing, Truth, whatever. I should have joined.
Well, no, absolutely, Darren. In there and lob all those grenades.
Fuck's sake. Anyway, I was looking at a thing. 6 Nations players by club team. They're talking biggest. Obviously, Leinster have 23, Glasgow 16, Benetton / Toulouse 15, Edinburgh 12, Bordeaux, Sarries, Toulon 10, Cardiff 8, Leicester, Sale 8, Quins, Northampton, Scarlets 7, Bath, Connacht, La Rochelle, Munster, Ospreys 5. Don't think there's any real surprises there, gentlemen, about the participation from the various clubs.
No? How many teams are the Edinburgh players representing? How many nations?
Yeah, that's true. It just says 12, the number 12 after there. I know what you mean.
And if you're to count, Southern Hemisphere ones, they probably have at least 20.
Well, listen, let's not go down that.
You mean a certain team, a certain country on the very southern tip of Africa? Is that what you're talking about?
Them. Oh,
yeah,
right.
them,
okay.
yeah.
I don't think we should be going down that road now, lads. To be fair,
Mike Greedy, I just something that came to my attention today, Mike. A very experienced ref, Luke Pearce, came out with a very one-line statement, and he says the game of rugby has gone too complicated. Luke Pearce.
Well,
when did you say that?
Said it today. I just saw it today.
What does he mean by too complicated? The way it's been, the way they're expected to referee it, or the way
probably.
I would probably imagine that's what he's talking about. The frequency of bloody law changes that World Rugby, in their wisdom, seem to want to make and bring down, which some of them are absolutely ludicrous. I'd say that's what he's referring to.
Well, I think played on a Saturday, there's uncontested lineouts. If it's on a Sunday, there's a 90-second shot clock.
Yeah.
Billy Beaumont and the legacy of Billy Beaumont.
Now, believe it or not,
Billy Bungalow.
Yeah, Bungalow Bill.
Ty Byrne did allude to it after the match last weekend. He said that ultimately he thinks that World Rugby want to get rid of the scrum. I mean, and he could have a point. He could have a point because they're bringing in this thing. Oh, well, you can do this, but or if the crooked line out and the other team doesn't contest, play on. That's fucking madness. Like it doesn't make sense.
I've said and I stand by it. I can't believe that there's such a thing as an uncontested line out. Every line out should be contested. I think it's fucking nonsense.
That's the point. But that's the point, though, Mike. It's to make you contest so nobody stays on the ground. I'm
in total favour of that, to be honest with you. I think an uncontested line-out is a non-event in rugby. It was always contested going back as far as I can remember. And I don't see that there's something that never needed to change. And people think they're getting an advantage by keeping the bodies on the ground, to contest a a Maul, but they're not even successful at that. Like, and I think it's nonsense. You contest, everybody should jump for the line out.
But normally teams, but normally teams don't contest the line out if they're defending from 5 meters out.
5 meters in.
Normally they don't.
Yeah, but they used to. They always did. They always did in the past, Peter. Every line out was contested back in the day. And
that's only.
You're talking Civil War era here, Mike.
Well,
but that's only a fairly new thing.
Mike's talking about the days when the winger used to throw into the line out.
I threw into the line out. I was
I threw up in the line out once. You weren't too impressed.
Gentlemen, but before I ask others, hold on. Before, excuse me. Before I ask others, Brian Core has asked or said, "There's too many things a ref has to look at the same time." Good evening, Brian. Yeah. Good to have you with us.
He does have a point on that.
Yeah, I think Brian has. That is a very valid point for referees.
It is.
Pete, go on.
Yeah, like basically, Brian is on the money there, and like it's been alluded to, you know, our one time, sometime in future guest, Brett Igo has raised it on articles he's written. It's very, very complicated. You look at the ordinary ruck, like let's count the infringements, right? Hands in the ruck, not releasing.
In from the side,
off the feet, in from the side.
Playing the ball on the ground.
Yeah, playing the ball. That's 5, right? Never mind. Sorry, did we already cover in from the side? I think we did.
Yeah.
You know, that's 5. So all 5 of those things are happening at any possibly, well, depending on the level, it probably happens a certain amount at the international level, but certainly you've got those 5 happening week in, week out in the AIL and at underage. And the referee says, right, what am I going to ping on? What do I not particularly like? What do I... And that's what it boils in. That's the whole interpretation thing. What are your own pet peeves? What the fuck do you hate seeing that drives you nuts?
Yeah.
It's the same with
I'm going to whistle you all week for that. And it could be basically not releasing. You could be your own little personal pet peeve, but there could be more hands than feet in a ruck at any time, and you'll just let it go. That's the whole point, and that's what I think. Coming back to Luke Pearce's statement, that's a glimpse into what's going on. That he's going, for fuck's sake, this crap coming down from top. I'd love to see if they got the likes of Nigel Davies and some of the other referees, now recently retired referees. Even the likes of Piper, who we don't really like, and Reynal and some of these other guys, get them in a room and say, right, guys, task force, sort out the rules. You can be sure it'll be a hell of a lot easier, a hell of a lot better game to watch. And the referees, there'll be more referees in the game, arguably. Who knows? Until something like that happens, we're left with the current bullshit.
I mean, at end of the day, they're humans. They make mistakes. They're
But you see, the argument against that, Richard, is when anyone says that on a forum, and I've seen it. Yes, they're only human, but the TMO can step in and say, no, it was actually a neck roll. That's another one, Pete, you left out. Neck roll, that we all forgot, not just you, Pete. Yeah. Neck roll. You know what I mean, Richard? They'll come back and they'll counteract that with, the TMO could see it, though, couldn't he?
Yeah, but and it does happen. You'll see it being called back to go, you need to look at this and you need to look at that. But the initial decision, if it's we'll just say in from the side, and there's a neck roll, because normally that's when a neck roll would happen, when there's a player coming in from the side. So who do you ping first? You go with the person coming in from the side because he's there first.
That's what Pete was saying. That's what Pete was saying.
And then you'll have the ref. Then you'll have this is where the captain will step in and say, well, I saw this. No, I didn't see that, but this happened, but that happened, and it's like and then they'll have to decide. Okay, we'll decide in some sort of grading system on severity, which is more dangerous, which is the worst offense, and then it's like, here, hang on a minute here. We've had a headshot, and then we've had targeting the lower body, neck roll, or going at the knees.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay. Thanks, gents. Dara Weston, you've been Matt. You've been very patient. Dara Weston, I'll come to you first. Your thoughts on Luke Pearce's comments that the game it's gone too complicated.
referees are only human, but also worse than that, they're only backs. There's no forwards as referees, so like for them
Great
to
point,
actually
Sarah, as
call
always.
a scrum. Now, I mean, surely there's fuck all involved in sitting in a truck watching a screen. So surely they can find a few top class forwards to be TMOs. Because like I mean, you only have to look at Porter, Andrew Porter. You know, the image, the picture that referees have painted over the years of Porter. Fucking Da Vinci and Michelangelo couldn't undo this image that refs have that Porter's at fault. And he gets pinged numerous times for things that actually aren't his fault, but because it's perceived that, he has a track record for it, he has a history for it. So they either go two ways. They either get forwards involved in the TMO position or just leave the scrum to sort itself out Mad Max Thunderdome style. And the referees just stay away from the scrum. But no, on a serious note, yeah, I mean, look, the constant dicking about with the laws that World Rugby have been doing because New Zealand want this or South Africa want that, or somebody wants some change, so they cave and they change a rule, and like it's hard to keep up. I mean, we had the same set of rules for probably 100 years. And then, the game got more advanced and the physique of players started changing. So you had to kind of look at things more, you had to finesse some of the rules and change some of the rules. But also now I think and it pains me to say it, rugby has gone soccer-esque with social media. It was always you respect the ref and the ref's decision is final and that's the end of it. But now you have all these, we've spoken about before many times, keyboard warrior trolls under their bridges, and they're sitting at home and they're just going, oh, he had a shite game. He's a shite ref. I wouldn't have him ref the under-12s minis team or whatever. And they're only human. And then you have people calling out their families and stuff as well. So
I know that.
It's a thankless job, and it's certainly made much more difficult by World Rugby and what they decide on a particular day is a new law.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that's incredibly confusing for the refs as well. Because
mid-season
you see changes.
That's it. And like you have a Southern Hemisphere ref coming to ref in the Six Nations. He's reffing one set of laws down the Southern Hemisphere because they're being trialed, and then he comes up to do the Six Nations where those trial laws aren't in effect.
Yeah.
How are you meant to handle that kind of stuff?
Well, something else that came up in the last few weeks. I mean, the actual rugby authorities didn't support the referees' decisions during the course of the games. Like, they reduced red card situations to lesser offence and stuff like that. And if they don't do it, if they're not prepared to actually back the referee's decision that's made during the course of the game, then you've got a problem. And that's why referees are probably pissed off. They're probably thinking, you know what? Fuck you. Let somebody else can make the decision. I'm not going to make it.
Does the referee, and I don't know this, and I don't know if anybody else knows it here. Peter Martin might know it. Does the referee, in his match report, if the referee said, look, this red card, it was a particularly blatant whatever, I would recommend an X ban for the player. I
would doubt that, Dara. I
doubt they do. But I think it would certainly give the referee more power than, as Mike said, send it to an independent committee who weren't at or just watching highlights of the game and then go, oh, well, we have a letter from the local priest and, he's never, done it before. How many things can we mitigate against, basically?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Richard. Matt's been waiting there very patiently. He hasn't had his say on this. Matt, your thoughts on this thing of what Luke Pearce said, that the game has gone way too complicated?
Well, he's right in a way, because I can guarantee you the exams that they'd have to do to become a referee now, they wouldn't pass years ago, because the rules completely changed. I'm all for them fucking around with the rules when it's in favor of player safety. But when they're pricking around for stupid fucking rules that don't make really any difference and fucking cause more hassle than they're worth, it's pointless, because the refs are constantly having to redo and relearn fucking rules and rules that are being trialed, and the book is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger for them to fucking learn. You know, I totally understand when they're trying to protect player safety, head contacts, and all that. Grand, but there's got to be a limit to changing fucking every fucking rule. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I totally agree with you, Matt.
It's not one job for one referee on a pitch, because, as the lads have said, so much goes on at ruck time. You know, you couldn't possibly, as a referee, watch and be able to referee everything. And that's where people are getting abused and giving out about refs, you know. But again, they're trying to rely on TMOs, but TMOs will only they won't catch everything either. You know, you could have two refs on a fucking rugby pitch and they still wouldn't catch stuff.
Yeah, true. Okay, Darragh Weston, you're going to say something?
Even this, I mean, it's a stupid little thing, but even the way when the ref's consulting with the TMO and the ref says, okay, so my on-field decision stands, yeah, and the TMO says, hold on, yeah, okay, the camera's back to you now, and then he has to wait until the camera's back to make his decision, even though he's already said my decision stands. So little things like that kind of waste time as well, and it just takes the flow.
I think that's for TV, and that's for the people.
Exactly.
That's for the new people to the game to understand that this is what's that's borrowing from American football. Where they basically starting to relay that. Like back to what the lads are saying about the laws of the game and that. Like there's 21 laws, right? Which in theory, Jesus, there's 21 only. Yeah, it's the subsections. It's the point A, point B. That is where the problems lie.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, gentlemen, well covered and good points made. To next point on the list, Matt, I'll come to you. So you can come in on this. The games last weekend, the Sharks Toulouse, Stormers Sale, Munster Saracens, La Rochelle Leinster, Leicester v Ulster. There was small bit of a point made about this online, that there was only one of those games, that was the La Rochelle Leinster game, only one of them was a sellout. Now these are not European Spanish soccer stadium 70, 80,000, Bernabeu-esque type stuff. These are your average size rugby stadiums. We had Sharks v Toulouse. There was 24,762 people in attendance at that game, less than half full. We had Stormers v Sale. The attendance there was just over 23,500. Capacity of 55,000. Again, less than half full, or about half full. Munster v Saracens. Thomond Park has a capacity of 27,000. There was just over 22,000 in attendance. As I said, La Rochelle v Leinster was the only sellout at 16,700. And last but not least, Leicester Tigers v Ulster. There was just shy of 16,500 in attendance when Leicester's capacity there in, was it Mailford? How do you pronounce that? Leicester Tigers? Mallyford? Melford is nearly 25,900.
You missed Connacht there.
No, we just stick with the Champions Cup for the moment.
Oh, right, Grant.
Yeah, they're the only figures I saw, Darragh. This is just, it was all about the Champions Cup. Matt, any thoughts on why there was such a drop-off, 30, 40, 50% drop-off in attendance in those games?
I'm going to start off with the South African, right?
Go ahead.
South Africans will not go to a fucking match unless the Boks are playing. And that's plain and simple. They come online and they fucking shout their mouths off about fucking Boks this and Boks that, but they don't support their fucking local clubs. And for me, that's fucking criminal. You know, they make such a hullabaloo on fucking line when the Boks are playing, but yet they won't support fucking Stormers or fucking whoever. I don't know what it is. They're just a fickle bunch of cunts. That's all they are.
Well, they only have one jersey.
That's the South Africans.
Okay, go on the other ones.
In terms of, I don't understand why the Premiership teams aren't selling out the games either. Now, is it a case that they're giving so many tickets to the away team and they're getting some back, or I don't know. They should have no problem playing them out.
I should have mentioned this. Sorry, Matt, and everyone. Apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, there is a fans' protest against the Leicester Tigers for their ticket pricing structure, and they're not buying the tickets. That's why the Leicester Tigers game. Sorry, I should have said that. I have it here in my notes. I just missed it. I had my phone covering that particular fact.
Do you know what? Fair fucks to the Leicester fans then, because that's what needs to be done. And unless like people are going to do things like that here, we'll still be paying the same prices for tickets. You know.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's shit for the players when they're playing in empty stadiums. Like COVID, for example, like there's nothing worse than a fucking empty stadium when you're playing a game. You know, it's fucking soul destroying. But if that's the stance the Leicester fans are taking, well, fair fucks to them. I mean, it's the only way to get their point across, because the people that are selling the tickets, they don't want to know. They just want the money, and as much money as possible.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I don't know, you were talking about what other club? Bath didn't sell either. They didn't sell out either?
No. Sharks Toulouse, Stormers Sale, they're the two South African clubs that you mentioned. Munster Saracens, Leicester v Ulster
was the Munster match full? Not full, no, not sold out.
No.
Again, that's disgraceful. And I know David Sheedy be fucking seething about that, because he said like years ago tickets would be sold months in advance. So I don't know what's going on.
You'd be selling your eldest born for a ticket back.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. So I don't know. Is it a case that like Munster haven't been performing the last while, even though they won the URC a couple last couple of seasons ago, that they're not going, or they've lost interest, or is it other sports have taken pull of kids these days, and there's just not as many fans anymore? I don't know. But in saying that, though, Leinster are still selling out, though. So how do you...
In La Rochelle, Matt.
No, but like if Leinster were playing at home, they'd still sell out nearly.
Oh, in the order, yes, of course, yeah.
So look, we don't have the answers to that, but you know, it's criminal that these games, especially in the Champions Cup, because that's elite European rugby, they should be all sold out.
Yeah. Okay, Dara, before I come to you, just a couple of comments here. Dave Sheedy, I watched that GB, a Good, Bad and Rugby interview with Luke Pearce. It was very good, Mr. Burke. Okay. Dave Sheedy again. The scrums from the late 90s was fast and efficient before they made a big deal of the hit and setup. I think, actually, gentlemen, if I'm correct, I think that's what Paul Wallace was referencing when he was on about the scrum. Mike Sheedy, good evening, Mike. In 2 weeks, we need to put on stronger team with great players. Also, our young guns, Ireland v England, they will have a strong team out to win in Ireland, but Irish players will give a fight to make us proud of Irish rugby. Yes, you would absolutely hope so. Dave Sheedy, I see your comments there, Dave, but this is just one that's relevant to what Matt was talking about. Dave Sheedy, I'm fucking fuming. Matt Toman on Euro night should always be a sellout. All right. Okay, Dara, your thoughts on this?
I'd agree with Dave. I mentioned it in last week's show. Fortress Thomond. You know, the amount of miracles that have been pulled off by Munster over the years in European games, because of just Thomond being absolute jammers, and just that 16,000 or whatever, but the 16th player, you know, spurring everyone on. It's funny because my father-in-law in Cork, he reckons that one of the problems with Munster is that there's not enough Limerick lads coming through, because JP McManus is putting so much money into Limerick hurling that it's taking young fellas away from rugby, and they're going for hurling more. Because there's millions being pumped into that, but that's
always been the case. That's not.
Well, no, it's only recent years. Like back in the days when you had the Claw and those coming up through Limerick, recent years there's serious money being pumped into Limerick.
Maybe so. Okay,
but Yeah, look, Toulouse. Toulouse can be a bit like Kerry sometimes. You know, they'll turn up full house for big top 14 games, but for other games, yeah, they're not really bothered. We'll wait until the final, or we'll wait until the quarterfinals. We get a home quarterfinal, then everybody will turn up. So they can be a bit fickle. Yeah, I mean, Leicester, as Matt said, fair balls to the players or to the supporters for actually voting and saying, right, we're actually not going to turn up if you're going to start putting up the prices.
Yeah,
fair play to them. Yeah, I mean, some of it you can possibly attribute to, January and the hangover from Christmas. And then people getting ready for Six Nations, etc. And maybe they've no cash if they got Six Nations tickets, maybe they've no cash left. But yeah, the Munster one I'd be particularly disappointed with. Like that's always sold out.
Yeah,
you would think for European games.
The Munster faithful, maybe a few have lost their faith, gentlemen. Peter Martin, your thoughts on the crowd sizes in a few of those particular games? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as the lads have already alluded to, there's local issues there. Yeah, Munster had 20-odd thousand. The capacity of Thomond Park is 25.5 or something like that. So where is the other 5,500 people? Interesting. Maybe is there a protest and not going? Is there not the full backing of the team? We don't know. It's a conversation, maybe that some of the Munster supporters clubs can answer. The attendances overall for I saw someone putting it up online. I don't know if it was Caelan Scully or something like that. Basically, they were trumpeting that there were pretty solid attendances. Like the Sharks Toulouse game was well attended for a Sharks game. In Durban. Durban is a difficult place at this time of year with heat and humidity, and the game was a bit of a fucking shit show from that regard, even though it was just on the verge of exploding into an absolute cracker. Look, what La Rochelle had 17,000 at home, sounded like bloody twice that. The racket they made, the colour, the occasion, fair play to them. That's obviously local parochial shit going on there. They're all for one for all. They're tight. They're parochial. Blah blah blah. They're 100% behind the team. And then you have other economic issues with the game in the Gallagher Premiership, where you've got, as you said, the Leicester Supporters Club out protesting against the pricing. I'd say that there's an awful lot of other clubs in the Gallagher Premiership in that same space. I would just also point to some of the results from last week's games as well, and I think that basically might reflect as well on the results. Like, you had that absolute tonkin by of the Chiefs by Bordeaux. Or was that last or the previous week?
No, it was. They put them 50 points or something on them or more.
Yeah, absolute. Yeah, 17-69. That was like Exeter got absolutely tonked.
Giggity.
Now, they're not the team they were, Exeter. Let's call a spade a spade. They aren't. And Bordeaux are, they're the other side, arguably, of the French team themselves, and Toulouse make up an awful lot of it. But it's like that shouldn't happen at home. Like, how many Exeter fans turned up to that match hoping for a good game and hopefully a win, and then they were met with that,
and they saw that,
and they saw that. Maybe there was a realization saying, "Holy fuck, we're actually shit. Our competition playing is fucking shit."
You'd definitely be going fucking protesting then after that, wouldn't you?
Fucking right, you would. Right, go on. Okay, sorry, we're going to run out of time. Go on. Sorry, Pete. Go on, Richard. You haven't said anything yet, and we've 10 minutes left.
Just on Matt said it. Any of the South African games you're watching, going back to even when they were playing against the Australian and New Zealand crowd, the stadiums are always half empty. I mean, when Munster went down there and they won the fucking URC, it was a half empty stadium. Which I don't understand it. As Matt says, when they're all beating their chest when South Africa are playing, but they won't go out and support their own team, their own local team.
The stadium's half empty, but the swimming pool's always full.
Yeah, true. Very true.
To me, ticket pricing is a problem anyway. I mean, if you want to bring, because there's a friend of mine, he done it last year to the Six Nations game, one of the Six Nations games, and he says, I would have got a week in Lanzarote for the same price. You see, if himself and his wife and 3 kids, says I would have got a week in Lanzarote for the same price. So, you know, it was
what
nice.
The hell did he pay for what the hell did he pay for the ticket?
I have no idea. But that's what he said. Like, that's more or less what he said.
Well, if it was an evening game and you had to get, like, you know, kind of accommodation and stuff as well, then yeah, you'd be.
Well, that's it. Like
accommodation in Dublin, Six Nations weekends.
They said they'd make a weekend out of it, and they were going to stay in Dublin and whatnot. You know, that's not just taking.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Cheaper to go to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, going on the last 2 Munster fans, Richard and Mike. Richard, just to end your opinion, the Munster game was far from a sellout.
No, and I'm actually surprised by that, because traditionally, it's always a sellout. The European Cup games, the place is jointed. Now, it's a thing anyway. I was down at a quarter final last year, and there was 15,000 people at it. You know, there was a quarter final back 10 years ago. Thomond, you wouldn't be able to move in the place, and I don't know what's going wrong. I'll be honest with you. It's been a while since I've been at a European Cup game now, so I don't know how much a ticket is. But maybe ticket pricing is an issue there as well. Now, I understand everyone has to get their cut out of it. That's the way it works. But it's sad in a way, because Thomond was always known for its crowd, its atmosphere, and being absolutely packed every time Munster were at home.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Mike, you're the second Munster man on the panel. Your thoughts on this? I know you're in Scotland and you're a bit removed from all this.
My brother goes to Thomond a lot, and he decided actually last Saturday to go to Nina Ormond to watch Nina instead of going to Thomond, which is surprising. And I think some of it was kind of decision was made after the Leinster game that he was so disappointed and thought, "Fuck me, I can't watch this, man. You know, this is absolutely soul destroying watching this." And like, you know, he was probably disappointed afterwards that he didn't go, because it was a decent performance for once. And but I do think the pricing has something to do with it as well, you know, and there's all sorts of things going on. And I agree with what the lad said about the fucking influence with the hurling in Limerick and stuff like that. You know, it probably has an effect on it. But lads, if the rugby is good enough and the price is right, you'd be going. You'd go. I mean, look at all you guys are all going to the Leinster game at the weekend.
Very
great, but I personally would be going if I was living in Ireland and I had fucking a couple of hips, so I'd be going to all the games. But I don't know. It's sad, but I agree. The South African thing. You know something? They've been ranting that fucking Dupont, he's never played in the Southern Hemisphere. He's never played in South Africa. All this shite. And when he goes and plays there, the fuckers don't turn up to watch him. What is wrong with him?
Yeah, there you go. Quite right,
Peter,
Mike.
who we had on a couple of weeks ago? God, I can't remember her name now. From Limerick, and she was saying about that she's season ticket holder, and she couldn't give away tickets to matches in Thomond.
Oh, that was
Finland.
No. Sabina Moyle.
Sabina.
Oh, Sabina Moyle.
Yeah. Okay, gentlemen, just to end that point, Dave Sheedy, European rugby's constant tinkering with the competition has killed a lot of the desire we all once had for
That's very, very true. Very true.
Very valid point. Sorry, can I just say... No, they shouldn't have. The round system...
The way it used to be, that was ideal, it was perfect.
Yeah, just leave it alone. Which is Jesus, that you know what I mean. Word up, just leave it as is. We just stop messing, or whoever looks after the Heineken Cup. Just a point that was raised there about the Leicester Tigers protesting. I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not going to go around. Just say what you think. Would Irish rugby fans ever do that for international matches to be held at Aviva when they're being charged 160 something for a ticket? Do you think that would ever happen to an Irish team?
No, because they're too desperate to fucking get one.
Yeah.
No?
Not while we're on the current wave of
No.
still success. If it was a more fallow time for Irish rugby, when we were all sitting there doing Mexican waves to entertain ourselves because we were getting hockeyed by England or whatever, then people might. But Irish rugby is too successful at the moment, and everybody wants to be in on it, even if they don't like rugby.
Yeah, that's the other side of it too.
So there'd be no chance of that sort of action being taken by Irish rugby fans for an Irish rugby international.
Not a chance. We're not French. We're not French.
Okay.
We don't get up and
for all of Irish rugby fans, but I have personally paid hundreds and hundreds of pounds for games.
No, I know you have. You've told us this, I know. Ocean's fucking 11 here.
Yeah, if they said they were going to put water meters in Lansdowne Road, then people might turn up to protest.
Very good. Quickly, gentlemen, because we've the games to look forward to. Just a couple of quick points. JJ Hanrahan, Matt. JJ Hanrahan is back in the Connacht squad. The 32-year-old, a lot of people are saying he's on his way back. This is his chance. Great to have him back on the bench for Connacht fans, but is he as that boy band Gary Barlow? Is he back for good? Or not Gary Barlow. What do you call him? Take that. Is he back for good?
Robbie Williams.
No, back for good. Robbie Williams. Yeah, pal. Go on, Matt. Sorry.
I don't know about that now, but look, if he's back and he's getting his game, it's pretty much his last time to shine. So it's now or never. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think, me personally, I don't think it will be for him. But who's to say? But again, do it now or don't do it at all. Do you know what I mean? So,
Grant.
Last chance.
Last chance. Okay. Well, sorry. When you said a phrase there, I was on a music thing in my head. But take that, Nola. You just said it's now or never. Who sang that song?
Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley.
Thank you very much. Dara West, JJ Hanrahan.
I remember it.
We know you do, Mike, for fuck's sake.
You were probably at the concert.
I was dancing to it.
That's why you're fucking no hips left.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Shakira.
In Elvis the pelvis.
JJ's head, he's thinking, should I stay or should I go now?
I know that one, the Clash. Go on there, sorry.
Look, I mean, he's back. If he doesn't get consistent game time, then I think, he may be open to offers abroad to make a bit of cash, if offers come. But yeah, look, you'd like to see him, back and injury free and everything. So obviously, you wouldn't wish any player extended absences. So hopefully,
yeah. Okay. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Dara. Peter Martin, JJ Hanrahan. He's on the bench. Is he on the way back or?
Sorry, are you in black and white, Peter Martin?
No.
He is, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
He is. You're always in black and white. There's no colour on your picture.
Doesn't matter if it's black or white.
It doesn't matter. We don't.
That's another song.
It's not the picture, lads. JJ Hanrahan, he's probably one of the better out-halves in the Irish game in the last 10 years. Probably the best one never to be considered for a cap. He's got a track record everywhere he's gone. He's performed to a greater or lesser degree. Like, he's been very good for Munster. He was very good for what was it? Was it the Dragons he was with? And he was over in
Ospreys.
He was in France. The Ospreys it was, and he was in France as well. Was it Clermont? He was briefly. I think it was
Bordeaux, England. No,
he played in England as well for Northampton.
Yeah, he played Northampton.
Yeah.
Like I tell you what he is, and Peter Burke, you may agree or disagree. He would make a very good guest on here.
He would. Yeah, he would.
Yeah, but on the way back, well, look, time will tell. He'll get out and we'll see if he's got more to give in the game. Like as regards physical side of it, he was never a guy with a great turn of pace, I don't think. So whether I don't think that side of the game is going to make a damn bit of difference. It's his game management is always very, very good. He was always a good game manager overall, but pretty decent distributor. Not a running, didn't have a running game per se, but it'd be interesting to see what he does when he comes back.
It was
he wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the fastest, Peter.
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt?
It was Dragons, not Ospreys.
Dragons.
Oh,
Okay.
Dragons. Okay, right.
Okay. Richard Holland, your thoughts on JJ's The Prodigal Son is returning?
Yeah, look, it's good. I think it's good to see him come back. I've always liked him. At the time he left Munster, I thought Munster made a mistake in letting him go. I'll be honest with you.
So did I.
Look, if he comes back,
but didn't he go and then went back to Munster and then went again?
Yeah,
that's right.
He's been 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he went to the Saints.
Everywhere he's been, he's always performed. He's always. He's, as you said, he's not the quickest player, but he had a great head on him, and he was able to see moves and be able to work it, and a good distributor of the ball off the hand and off the boot. He always had that in him. So I think it's good to see him come back, and I wish him all the best. I really, really do, and I hope he makes a success of this.
Okay, thanks, Richard. Mike, your thoughts on JJ's return?
I'd really like to see him come back and make a go as well. He did really well the last season he played at Connacht, because Jack Carty was having a fucking disastrous season, and he steadied the ship a little bit there. I remember when he played under 20s for Ireland, and he was absolutely outstanding in a World Cup, and it never kind of really happened. And Munster didn't give him a fair crack at the whip, in my opinion. As a Munster man myself, I think they fucking played around with Blyandal and who was the other guy? They had someone else there, and I thought, fucking hell, man. O'Hanrahan surely should have. No, it was before Carberry.
Joey Carberry when they got him.
They had somebody else. I can't even remember.
And New Zealand fell in there for a while.
Anyway. But I thought JJ was a better option on several occasions, and they never used him, and he went away again. But he has had a few injuries, but he's a steady Eddie player. He's not going to he's not the most flamboyant 10 you'll ever see, but I think he'll do a good job. He could be a good steadying influence for Connacht, and Jack Carty's had by his standards a half decent season for him when he's played this year. So we'll have to wait and see if JJ can get in. I hope he does. Good luck to him if he does. He's a decent, honest professional.
And he's one of these utility players as well, because he's played centre and fullback also. Yeah. So
I do agree with Peter Martin. I think he'd be an excellent choice for if you could get him on the show one night because of his versatility.
I've 1 or 2 people in mind for our next guest. But don't forget, we're having our Six Nations preview special on the 30th with Victor and Nick Popplewell. Yeah. No, Shane can't do it because he has his Legends game on. He says
that's right, Joe.
The other 2 boys are too old playing the Legends game, I'd say.
I'd say so. Okay, before we go on to our last point, we don't have enough time now, gentlemen, to get through everything I have on the list here.
Another 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll say. Okay, anyway, a few comments from people watching. Brian Core, I heard last week, if this is true, Brian, this is something else, that La Rochelle have sold out over 60 games in a row. That's some going.
Well, 17,000 is not massive, I suppose, to be fair.
Well, on average, 17,000 on average of, say, 40 quid a ticket? I don't know.
And apparently, I thought it was just at the Leinster game, but apparently at all the games, there's the odd Munster flag in the ground. There's
I know. Yeah, okay, yeah, I know.
That's do you know what it is, Dara? That's the 5,000 missing from Poland. That's rotation or something to France.
Went over to buy the wine.
There you go.
Yeah,
Dave Sheedy, it's the hurling darts. It's the All Ireland titles we've been seeing a drop in attendance in Thomond. Mike Sheedy, another good Munster man. It's called a 16-man. It's the Red Army. Never write off Munster. Mike, you say that every week. We never do write off Munster. We just hold on. Dave Sheedy, can I have a word from brother Mike? He's 30 minutes away, for fuck's sake. No matter how bad, we have to turn up. There you go. Gregor Galway is correcting us. Dragons it was, and Claremont. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Gregor. JJ was very quick when he scored the winner against Perpignan.
That was probably a bet.
Yeah, probably, yeah. That was probably back when Mike was going to games. Gentlemen, okay. We have one thing, but sorry, yeah, we do. We've got about
I was going to games before he was born.
We have about 10 minutes left, right? So we leave it at that.
Mike was one of the hairy babies who was lifted over the stile.
It was Mike really
over the wall into Lansdowne Road once.
Good man, fair play to you. That's when it was being developed and someone was trying to hide you.
Back in 1980, in the early 80s against Wales.
Yeah, okay.
What's it like, Mike, having come through various different, like you've come through from the half crown to the punt. You've gone through decimalisation. You've gone through the Euro.
Yeah,
like you're a legend around that time. How many different types of currencies have you lived through?
Fucking loads.
Extraordinary. Like
he went from candles to fucking electricity, for Christ's sake. Look at him there.
It was before the punt. I was around before the punt came fucking around.
He used to walk the school.
We had Sterling in Ireland when I fucking first came.
I'd say you still have a few half crowns and shillings and halfpence in your pocket, do you?
I never had them anyway.
There's hold on, gentlemen. There's Neil McKeown. La Rochelle have had 101 consecutive sellouts, not 60. Jesus Christ, that's something else. They have plans to make their stadium into an 18,000 seater. Jesus,
18,000. Just adding on 1,000 onto their.
No, it's their current capacity is 16,700.
Yeah, but like there's not much else to do in La Rochelle, really, is there? So you know.
Well, it's a rugby man town, though. That's the thing about it.
In fairness, gentlemen, we've all been at games, you know, be it a French international home game or a club game. The French do bring the atmosphere.
Oh, 100%. Never shut up for singing.
I do agree though with what the lads said about the hurling thing in Limerick, and I wouldn't mind only their actual brand of hurling is fucking dog shit. I mean, they have fucking take the game backwards without a doubt. Fuck them. They can win all the All Irelands they want. They're still shite.
There's the rant for you now.
Going back to the
for once I can't disagree with you, Mike, because I know fucking nothing what you're talking about.
Mike will remember this, and I remember as a schoolboy being at Ireland-France internationals when the French would always throw their cocks out in the pitch, you know, and the stewards were running after trying to catch them before the game, you know. So
there was always at least one cockerel at a game. Always.
That's it. Always, yeah.
There now seems to be a lot of corporate cocks at the games. Now,
plenty of them.
You're banned.
Last thing before we go on to the predictions for the games. Just a quick one. Again, I'm not doing the roundy thing. Just shout out what you think. Trevor Brennan's son Joshua has been called up to the French squad. Did we miss a trick with him? Or would it never happen?
We never had a chance.
He's never going to play for us once the way his dad was treated in Ireland. He's never going to fucking play for Ireland.
That's what I told someone, Mike, in a message.
Yeah, well, the boy has also spent his entire life in France.
He has.
So he's probably more French than he is Irish at this stage.
Trevor is more Toulouse than he was ever in Leinster or Ireland.
He speaks to the Dublin accent.
And he speaks to the Dublin
accent. Toulouse all the way from minis up, so he was never going to go for Ireland.
Never a runner. Thank you. You've just all proved me right.
But it's great to hear him when he gives the English interview with the TikTok.
Hold on, one voice.
It's great to hear him he does the post-match interview in England with the or in English with the TikTok accent.
True.
Yeah, he speaks English with a Dublin accent.
It's funny though, when he speaks English, he speaks with a Dublin accent, but when he speaks French, he speaks with a French accent. So
it's great, isn't it? Great to hear. Okay. All right, gentlemen.
He's a big lump of a lad too. He's massive.
He's a big lump of a fella.
He is a unit, all right. Okay, gentlemen, the game's coming up this weekend, as always, that we always do, and we will let Danny Brosnan review them all on his Monday night show, The Breakdown. Same time, 8:30 every Monday night. Danny will bring you a review of the games that happened and what people thought, and maybe one or two of the people you see on your screen here will be joining him. Okay, gentlemen. first game up, Matt, I'll come to you and we go through them all. Win, lose, or draw. Ulster are at home to Exeter. Now,
That's actually a tough one because Exeter got spanked at the weekend. They'll want to come back and get a win. Also, Ulster were fairly well beaten by Leicester as well. So, I'm going to give it to Ulster. I'd say Ulster might just fucking get it by a score.
Okay, MB Ulster. Okay, Cardiff are at home entertaining Connacht.
Oh, you'd got to give it to Connacht, wouldn't you?
I don't know, Cardiff away.
Cardiff are shite.
Well, that's true. So are Exeter. Okay, Northampton at home. They're entertaining Munster.
I'd say Munster will be fucking flying high now after beating Saracens. So, I'm going to go with Munster away.
Okay. And Leinster are entertaining Bath in the Aviva.
Leinster.
Really? It's like an easy win? I don't think it's going to be an easy win. Like Bath are playing.
Win, but it's not going to be an easy win. We're going to win.
All right. Thanks, Dara. Or thanks, Matt. Dara.
Been called
no, I was looking at Dara because you had finished. That's why. Dara.
Yes. We shouldn't call it Dave anyway.
No, that's your forte. Dara, Ulster v Exeter. Ulster at home to Exeter.
They're both going to be up for it, but I think Ulster being at home will edge it.
Okay.
So
Cardiff at home to Connacht.
I think Connacht.
Okay. Northampton Saints entertaining Munster.
I'm contractually obliged to say Munster, but I think it'd be tough.
Okay. And finally, a game you'll be at, and I'll be at, and Claire will be at. I don't know.
More importantly, Claire is going to be right behind the goals. So at least in one of the halves, she's going to be holding up a big spoofer sign whenever Finn has to take a kick.
Brilliant. Love it. Okay, go on. Leinster v Bath.
Leinster. I think I think it could be tight. You know, I wouldn't be banking on bonus points or anything like that. But I think we have the beating of them.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dara. Peter Martin, your thoughts. Ulster at home to Exeter.
I reckon Ulster will by 5 points.
Okay. Cardiff are at home to Connacht.
Ooh. That's a kind of a tough one because Cardiff are actually on a bit of a reasonable run lately.
Reasonable.
But you know what? I'll go native Connacht.
Okay.
By a hair.
Okay. Northampton Saints at home to Munster.
So I think this is a game where we'll really kind of see if Munster can back it up. Big performance last week, albeit a shite game. I don't fancy it somehow. I think Northampton will take the spoils in that one.
Okay, and last but not least, Pete, Leinster entertaining Bath.
Yeah, I think it'll be squeaky bum, but I think we should have enough at home.
Okay. Richard Holland, thanks, Pete. Richard Holland, to you, win, lose, or draw. Ulster v Exeter.
Home advantage, just about. So Ulster by a score, not more than that.
Ulster by their home advantage, as we always say here, 5 points, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cardiff at home to Connacht.
Oh, Connacht. I think Connacht should. I actually think that'll be probably the easiest game of all four.
Okay. Northampton at home to your team, Richard, Munster.
No, that's a tough one now. I'm going to say that Munster are going to win it by 3. It's going to be a very, very tight game.
Okay. And last but not least, Leinster in the Aviva, they're entertaining Bath.
Home advantage. There won't be a competition. I reckon Leinster will win that by about 15 points. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, I wouldn't agree with that now. I don't know.
I hope you're right.
Hopefully we win it, but I don't know if we do win it. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think it'll be 15 points or anything like it. Hopefully, I'm wrong and you're right, Richard. Okay, thanks, Richard. Mike Reedy, Ulster at home to Exeter.
Well, that's a winner takes all for whichever one wins that, because
the other one's going home.
Whoever wins it goes into the Challenge Cup, and whoever loses it goes out. So I'll have to go with Ulster, lads. I think Ulster will win that. I genuinely do, yeah. I think they'll win that.
Okay, Cardiff at home to Connacht.
I think Connacht as well. I think Connacht are going to win that one.
Okay, and your team, Mike, Munster, they are travelling to Northampton Saints.
I'm dreading this. I cannot see us getting the result here. I just can't. I fucking hope we do, but I think Northampton will win it. I genuinely do. I don't think we're good enough to beat them.
Okay, and last, Mike, you're ending the show tonight. Last but not least, Leinster are entertaining Bath in the Aviva.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that game, by the way. I'm looking forward to fucking Finn Russell. That's the first time he's faced Leinster in a long time. And I'm looking forward to fucking seeing your reaction if he comes in fucking as a stormer, by the way, and all the fucking egg will be on your face.
That's actually not strictly true.
Huh?
That's the first time he's faced Leinster. He played when he was with Racing last season. Was it the season before last? I remember seeing him against when he played. He was 10 for Racing. And when he played,
but for Bath.
No,
for Bath. Oh well, yeah.
He's playing very well for Bath. I think Leinster will win the game. I mean, if they fucking turn up and do the business and actually play rugby for a change.
Now, because we're over time, I'm not engaging with you.
And remember the days when Reedy used to sit on the fence? Now he just goes completely mad.
I know.
By the way, you're right. The Banner are the champions at the moment. Never mind. That's just a sideshow.
Okay, gentlemen. Okay, that's all we have time for. Again, we say it every week. We're going way off time, right? Usual, right? All that's left for us to do is to thank all of you for watching and sending in put up your comments, giving us your opinion. It's always great, and we enjoy doing this for us and for you to hopefully give you some sort of entertainment. Also, my thanks to Matt Boland, Dara, Pete, Richard Holland, and Mike Reedy. Gentlemen, thank you all very much, and we might see one or two of you next Monday. If not, we will certainly see you next Thursday. Good night, gentlemen. Take care. All the best.
Bye-bye.